Once you're done flattening your hair, what I like to do is obviously section the hair out. I will have a video on how I trim maybe at some point, like how I trim, like a whole tutorial how I trim hair at some point, because I do have a method, and I would like to call my method professional, because although I'm not licensed, I take hair care very seriously, and I watch professionals do their hair, and I pay attention to angles and all of that stuff. So although I'm not a professional, okay, just putting out there, and I probably don't know anything as much as a professional knows about angles and things like that, but I pay close enough attention where I feel like I can replicate it or mock it very well. People ask me all the time if I'm a professional. I'm not, but I like to feel like I am. So, and people come to me. So what I do is I trim the hair. I use these. These are, I got these on Amazon. They're called Equinox International. And they're cute because they are silver, but they have a gold, and I love gold. And you can like tighten it or loosen it to however your desired amount is. And these are so freaking sharp. Oh my god, these are sharp as hell. Sharp as hell. They're so sharp that I had my mom trim my hair this summer, and I was like, "Mom, you're cutting me." And she's like, "Just stay still, stay still." She cut a whole line in my back, and I was bleeding because these things are so freaking sharp, because she was doing this, like holding the hair flat on my back and doing this, and every time she did this, she was actually cutting my freaking skin. Yeah, so these are sharp, so you gotta be careful. But that's what you want when it comes to your hair. You want scissors that are so freaking sharp that they don't dull your hair, because if you use kitchen scissors or paper scissors or even hair scissors that you've used on other things, your hair is gonna suffer, because when you cut a crisp, clean line, right, your ends are blunt, clean, very fresh, right? It can last you up to 3 to 4 months. So you won't need a trim at all for 3 to 4 months. But if you use kitchen scissors and you cut it and it's dull, have you ever tried cutting something with dull scissors and it gets all ruffled up? Like paper too. Like, have you ever tried cutting paper or like even cardboard or something with dull scissors and it doesn't work? It just like, it cuts, but it's still like, it's not clean. It's like raggedy and like, it's like messing it up, and you're like, oh shit, like this, sorry my French, but you're like, oh shoot, like these scissors suck, right? It's the same with your hair. Like if you cut your hair with some dull scissors, your hair is gonna snag and frizzle up and do all this crazy stuff, and you just A, lost some length for nothing, and B, you created more splints than you already had. Why? Like why? Just buy some scissors. Amazon, these were like $7. Imagine, no, they were $15. They were $15, but they're hair professional scissors, and they're sharp as I don't know what. All right. So if you're gonna trim your own hair or have someone else trim your hair, make sure the scissors are good. Make sure they're very sharp, professional scissors. So, and also make sure you don't drop your scissors. I've heard that when you drop your scissors, you misalign them, and you can damage the blade and make them dull. So, you know, just keep them in a safe place. Keep them in a little like case or whatever, pocketbook or whatever you want to call it, and protect your scissors. All right, you need them. All right. And yeah, that's pretty much all I do when it comes to straightening your hair. Every time I straighten, I trim my hair every single time. I never, well, there have been times where I straighten my hair and not trimmed, but I always end up needing to trim it. So I recommend trimming every time you straighten if you're going to straighten. Unless you just straighten every 2 weeks. Obviously I wouldn't suggest you trim every 2 weeks. But at some point, don't go longer than 3 to 4 months without trimming your hair. I know people do it. I know people say, oh, I only trim as needed. Don't wait till your ends are messed up to trim it. Because honestly, if you go 8 months without trimming your hair, you're going to have to cut a whole inch or... Oh my god, my phone. Really? Alright, sorry guys. So anyway, like I said, what was I saying? Okay, like I said, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh my god. Okay, like I said, oh, if you go 8 months without trimming your hair, you're gonna have to cut more hair off. You're gonna have to cut above the damage, because if you cut at the damage, there's still pieces that are damaged that are gonna continue to split up the shaft, all of that, right? So, okay, wait, I'm sorry. This was a hair straightening video. I mean, a straight hair products video. I just want to make a disclaimer about something. I had I had someone tell me how split ends are like made up by the hair industry, and like they're used basically to keep clients to keep coming in to have a hairdresser cut their hair, blah blah blah. Okay, so I'd like to address that. Split ends are real. If you look through your hair, especially if you haven't had a trim in a while, if you go through your hair and you look per strand, you can find them. I actually had a split end a little bit, not too long ago, right? I actually had one that was in my crown. And because my crown's like kind of fragile. And let's just say this one had this piece, I mean, you probably can't see it on camera, but let's just say this strand has a split end. My split end let's just say it's a line, right? It's a line, a strand of hair. It had hairs splitting up this way, splitting up that way, down that way, up this way. The whole, like, 3 inches of it had splits going up of it. Like, literally, it just had, like, splits, like, right? The person said to me that when you do get these splits, that they'll just break off, and then you know, they'll just, like, flare off and break off. And once they break off, you still have your strand. Now, imagine you have a piece of paper, right? Let me demonstrate. Let's say this is a piece of paper, right? This is your strand of hair, right? Let's say you have a split end. And let's say it's hanging off at this point. It breaks off, right? Right? All right, cool. Your hair is still intact, whatever. Let's say another piece splits. Right? And it's just hanging off. And that's the part that you see when you look at split ends. You see the part that's still hanging off, and then this is the core piece, right? So whatever. And let's just say another piece splits. Like, this is what it looks like, right? And then another piece splits. Right? And another piece. Like now, like this is exposed. This is more likely to split. Oh, it just fell off. Okay. And then let's say this just gets so weak it just falls off. Oh, there you go. Oh, it falls off. Oh. So this point right here that was connected to the rest of the strand of your hair, this is gonna gone. All right, that's what's gonna happen to your hair when you have split ends. It just keeps breaking. It just keeps splitting on the side, splitting till there's nothing left, and it just is gone. Like, that's what split ends are, and that's what I'm trying to explain to people, is that, yeah, okay, a split end is a piece of your hair that flares out, and yeah, your hair is technically still there, but the idea about split ends is because when a piece of your hair comes off, the middle cortex or whatever gets weaker, and then another side splits off, and another side, and it just keeps going until the hair is so thin and weak, it can't handle styling, it can't handle brushing, it can't handle washing, it can't handle anything, and it breaks. And then because it breaks, let's say this part is the last part that broke off, now the rest of that you have left is vulnerable because the ends are they're not crisp, they're torn. So this is gonna start to strip. Whatever you have left, it's just gonna keep doing that. So my point is, when you have a strand of hair that's split, that a split end broke it off, right? I don't want to use my scissors. I have other scissors. Hold on. These are some scissors I don't use anymore. These are some hair scissors I do not use anymore on my hair. And it actually has some glue on it, I think. I don't use these scissors in my hair. When you cut split ends, right? It's clean. This isn't going nowhere. Now, I can't say much about this. And that's why they say you're supposed to cut above the damage, because if this is the part of the split end that broke off and you only cut this much off and you're skimping on the trim, this is going to just continue to split on the sides. And all of this that you did, all that work you did up here, don't mean nothing because you didn't want to cut above the damage. So, my point in this is, you have to let go, all right? Yes, we want long hair. Everybody wants long hair. Everybody loves long hair. It's everybody loves it. Every woman, I mean, yes, there are some women that don't, you know, they like their short hair. I'm not saying every woman aspires to have long hair, but a lot of women want long hair. Obviously, you want long hair if you skimping on trims because you want to have long hair. So clearly that means you want long hair. But hair is like anything. Like, you gotta take care of it, and part of taking care of your hair is trimming. So yeah, I feel like I just gave you a history lesson on why you should trim. But I'm gonna have another video out on what happens to your hair when you don't trim, how long you should, like, what happened. Like, I'll have another video about trimming, a whole separate video dedicated to trimming and why I trim systematically, and why you shouldn't just wait till your hair is fried to trim it, or wait till your hair is noticeable. It's kind of like, you know that saying when they say, by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated? Means you're already on the verge of being, like, dehydrated, which isn't good, actually. It's the same thing with trims. If you are just now noticing that your hair ends are terrible, you waited too long for a trim. You want to know why? Because you're supposed to nip them in the butt before they start. That way you can control how much you take off. If your hair, let's just say this piece, right? Let's say this piece is I mean, this is curly, it's frizzy. Let's just say this piece is damaged, right? Let's say a whole inch of my hair right here. Let's say this whole piece right here is damaged, right? This is all damaged. This is 1.5 inches. Like, if you really look at it, 1 inch is about this much. 1 inch. Oh wait, that's 2 inches. It doesn't look like a lot, right? But it's 2 inches of hair. Like, this is 2 inches. Not all of it maybe meeting 2 inches, but it's about 2 inches of hair, all right? This is damaged. You gotta cut above it, or else you're just gonna keep getting split ends. So you gotta cut up here. Now you just lost like 2.5, 3 inches of hair. For what? Because you wanted to wait forever to trim for some length that you're gonna have to cut anyway, or it's gonna break off anyway. Like, you don't have a choice. It's gonna go because it's damaged. So why? Or you trim your hair every 3 months before the damage starts, and you only take off like that. You only take off 1/4 inch. It's the very, very ends. And you save yourself some hair. And you end up getting longer hair in the long run anyway. So anyway, this was like a straight hair tool video turned into trim talk video. But I'll probably just put that in the description because it is a trim talk video, kind of, sort of. So yeah, that is my talk about straightening my hair and tools I use to straighten hair and how I get my hair straight. And I hope you enjoy that video.